We are starting the second half of the summit. Thank you everybody for staying, for coming. Fellowship, it seems like it's going really well. Everybody having a good time, enjoying your company. Okay, great. So panel 3 is shaping public policy. And we wanted to really have a conversation about education and what's going on. What are we dealing with public schools, charter schools, and talk about criminal justice reform, bail reform. What's it look like in the next legislative session? And then also healthcare. Rachel, there we go. Healthcare. So, just talking about healthcare and how it's affecting minority communities, and not just, on our level as employed women and, receiving healthcare through our employer. What's going on, in the neighborhoods, grassroots. So I want to welcome up Amanda Arizola, who is coming back to moderate this panel, and Rachel Cooper, who is with the Center for Public Policy Priorities out of Boston. There's Tasha Dennis, who is with KIPP Public Schools Texas, and State Representative Nicole Collier. Amanda's going to take it from here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Tracy and Black Women's PAC for inviting us out to be able to moderate, or me to be able to moderate one more time, so you get to see my face again. I didn't do a great introduction to my organization here in our first go-round. So I'm Amanda Arizola. I am the Dallas Council Program Manager for Reflect Us. And Reflect Us is an organization, national organization of 7 organizations, the top women's leading organizations for training and elected positions, boards, and commissions. So we try to do as much additional trainings as we possibly can. We'll start kicking those off in early 2020. So please be on the lookout for that. We partner with Black Women's PAC to be able to make sure that all individuals are looked at for elections and boards and commissions. So today, what we're talking about in this third panel is shaping public policy, our quality of life. And so when we think about quality of life, the definition that itself is the standard of health, comfort, and happiness experienced by an individual or a group. And so we have some great experts on our panel today, including Representative Nicole Collier from Fort Worth, my hometown. And she has served as now serving as her second term as first vice chair of the Texas Legislative Black Caucus. She's introduced legislation ranging from banning the sale of e-cigarettes to expanding eligibility for health care under the Affordable Care Act, and also creating additional opportunities for hubs, historically underutilized businesses. Thank you so much for being here. We also have Rachel Cooper from the Center for Public Policy Priorities at Boston. And Rachel is a senior policy analyst, and she focuses on the health and wellness team, as we're talking about, with expertise in SNAP and TANF. As well as we have Tasha Dennis, who is with KIPP Public Schools of Texas and Houston. She is implementing unique strategies for parents, elected officials, and community leaders to have special impact at the educational level with the KIPP schools. So thank you so much for being here. One of the things that we talk about with quality of life, this particular panel is pretty heavy when we're talking health and education in 2 different realms. So I'm actually going to let Rachel talk about her work first and how we are keeping families healthy through SNAP benefits, through TANF, and how that also integrates throughout educational spheres.
Thank you, everybody, and thanks so much to Tracy for inviting me. So public policy is more than just programs, right? It's trying to figure out how we can best support all of our people in all the many ways. People don't come in buckets like representatives. You vote on a bill and it's a one-issue bill, but that's not how people live their lives. All of these things interact. So if you don't get childcare, and if you don't have health care, and if you don't have food in the home, guess what? Your child is not going to do well in school. They end up in the criminal justice system. It's all related. So what we try to do is have a more holistic approach and think through how these relate and how we can do better. I mean, most of these are federal programs, but states have a huge role in how they work on the ground. And there's a huge diversity in outcomes. I don't know about other people, but I go to a lot of national conferences and I get really tired and depressed sitting in rooms listening to the Massachusetts and the Californias and the Washington States talk about how great they're doing on all of these variables and how many kids they're feeding, how many, all the kids who got coverage in healthcare. And I'm like, if only, But then another part of me is like, well, that's a Texas choice. We've chosen to not do well. We've chosen not to serve our kids. We've chosen not to offer health care, to expand health care. So that's why making your election work and policy is so important.
Representative Collier, is there anything you'd like to add to that particular piece? I know that your legislation really does focus on quality of life, on making life better for individuals and your constituents.
That's absolutely right. Thank you so much. I do want to thank Tracy again as well for hosting this event. And her PAC is just a wonderful addition to Texas. And I want to just piggyback and talk about the Center for Public Policy Foundation, because in the work that I do, I rely a lot of times on the work that they do, the research that they do at CPPF, or CPP, is what we call them in Texas Appleseed. They're great resources for anyone if you're doing, you want up-to-date, reliable information. You definitely rely on them. So I do appreciate what they do so many different areas, and we do take it piecemeal in the legislature. And so my role this session, this is my 4th term, and I had the pleasure of being appointed as the chair of the Criminal Jurisprudence Committee, where we set all the criminal laws in Texas. This is the first time a woman has ever held this seat since the committee was created in the 1800s. So, I mean, there's still work that we need to do with women in Texas, and I want to applaud all the women that are running for office at this point, because you can make a difference. You bring a different perspective to the work that we do all the time. But to piggyback on what you're saying, it is a holistic approach. I try to come up with some bills that will try to approach it that way. So I look at education, I'll look at healthcare, I'll look at the economy, and I'll look at criminal justice, and I'll try to draft legislation that's around all of that will improve the lives. And sometimes you don't have to think about it. There's other members that have filed that retired. You can just pick up their legislation and file it in. It's another trick that you have. But it's so true. It is a choice. Texas declined to expand Medicaid, but there's so many of us that have filed bills to do that. Chairman Garnett Coleman has been a champion on healthcare. He has helped us find ways to get around that through the 1115 waiver, which is a program that we take federal dollars and we use it to create programs to get into the community. But it's not the best option for us. The best option would have been taking a 90% of the cost of Medicaid and using that to expand healthcare, because we have the highest uninsured rate for children in the nation. So we don't want to be the #1 for everything. And that's not one of the things that we want to be #1 in. So I do want to just, when we come back, talk to more about criminal justice.
Absolutely, absolutely. Dasha, how has education really, and work that you're doing through KIPP schools, affect the quality of life of the entire family? I mean, you work specifically with the students, but also KIPP model shows some dual education models as well.
Definitely. I'll start by saying thank you to Tracy for the invitation. Thank you all for being here. There's so much power in this, so I just want to name that. And just say that education obviously is the key to upward mobility in our society. And not only do I work for KIPP, but I'm also a KIPP alum. I attended the first KIPP school in Houston, and at that time there were only 2 KIPP schools in the country, and now there are over 200. So it is safe to say that I have the lived experience of knowing what it really means for school choice to have a huge impact on the trajectory of a student's life. And to these ladies' points about holistic community development and support for students and families, that has increasingly become a focus at KIPP, because we now see that our work does extend beyond our classrooms.
Wonderful. Well, ladies, as we know that women, and especially our women in communities of color, are the leaders of our families in making those decisions of not only making healthcare decisions, making educational decisions. And we've been talking a lot today about getting involved and what it means to run for elected office, to be part of the community, be in boards and commissions. Taking that a step further and looking at your specific fields, how can all of these beautiful women here, empowered women, continue to make continual family choices around health, education, and in politics? Well, to continue to be impactful, make impactful choices for all the community.
Well, you don't have to be impactful. We're all the leader. You're a leader of yourself, one, but then you're a leader in your community. Just at your church, at your community organizations, wherever you go, you are the leader. You can make, and you can have an impact by the way you actually live. People watch you and see you, and they, that reflects off on others. So being mindful of how you carry yourself is important. I'm just preaching to the choir here. But in terms of getting involved, let me tell you this. The Texas legislature, since it started in the beginning of the Texas legislature, there's been over 6,000 men that have served in the Texas legislature, but only 160 women. So what does that tell you? Let me tell you. When I first ran for office, I ran against 2 men. And I was out there on the ground and doing my field work, and lo and behold, another woman comes up to me. She said, I'd love to vote for you. I think that you make a great representative, but you have a family. You have a husband and children, and I don't want to separate you, so I can't vote for you. And so, but that wasn't her choice to make. She don't know what was going on in my home. But one thing we got to be mindful of, sometimes we can tear each other down. And we've got to make sure that we lift each other up, encourage each other. And so the reason why we need more women in politics is to bring that other perspective. Because I do have children makes me even more qualified. Because I've been a single mother makes me even more qualified. Because I was a teen mother. I had my first baby at 16, my second one at 18. So that makes me even more qualified. Because I know what it's like to struggle. I know what it's like to use we used to have welfare. We didn't have a car. We had check, little checks that we pulled out. And so I know what it's like to stand in line and have somebody look at me and try to, put me down because of my current situation. So I bring that perspective. I remember sitting on the House floor and Helen Giddens was up front. She was fighting. Oh my goodness, she was fighting for this bill that would provide after-school care for children. And one representative said, we don't need that. And then she said, well, do you know about these latchkey children? He didn't even know the definition of a latchkey child. I was like, that's because he never had a child that had come home, get the key from under the mat, and go home by themselves. But it's because of our experiences that we can broaden and enlighten other people to the way that real Texans live, basically. I think that, getting involved, sharing our experiences is one of the ways that we can help improve, quality of life in Texas.
And I look at it from the other side. I will probably never run for the legislature. That's not my personality. But I'm a lobbyist at the Capitol on my issues. And I'll tell you that I'm in lots of hearings and then later lots of meetings with agency officials and people making the decisions about how these programs are run. And I am way too often, if not the only person of color in the room, one of a handful. so our voices aren't being heard, the decisions are being made about, first we have to convince the legislature to fund the program, which is hard enough. But then once it's funded, the agency gets to decide how it actually happens on the ground and how it's all apportioned. And those conversations are critical to making it a success. And the folks of color are not there. They're not empowered. They're not doing the policy work too often. I was in a room last week with, there was at least 25 people around the table talking about how the state of Texas is going to redesign our foster care system because the feds have basically put the money, have told the states if you want to keep your foster care money, you have to stop putting kids in shelters and find foster care homes and all of this. And so the state pulled together advocates to talk about it, and I think there was 3 black people in that room. And maybe 1 Latino, maybe. And that's, when you think that 2/3 of the kids in foster care are kids of color, and yet the advocates speaking to them aren't at the table, there's something wrong. So I encourage the people, you don't just get out and vote, but if you are in the community, telling people how to vote, the next step is once they've voted, making sure that the folks are still hearing from you about what you actually need in the community and that you're holding them accountable to vote the right way. Because as the representative colleague said, they have to turn to somebody for advice, and it's usually the people with money and not the people in the community. And so you have to hold them to that.
Speaking directly to running for office, I would just say that organizations like PAC, the work that Tracy's doing, is fundamental because we know that financial barriers are, premier in terms of how women look at their viability and their electability, right? They're thinking, okay, well, I'm going to be running against this person and they have all this money in the coffers or this incumbent. So first and foremost, just knowing that we need to use our collective impact to raise money to support each other through that. Because of the reality of the cost of elections. It's the only thing that I ask.
Wonderful. Yes, and so, and speaking to Rachel Cornell, the lady's points here, when we're talking about being in the room and not being invited to the room, how do we make sure that we are in the room? What are things that you have done in your careers to make sure that you're in the room and that you're inviting others into the room?
I got a funny story. It's not funny, but it's sad, but it's true. It's funny because it's true. I remember this was 2018, guys. This is my 3rd term in the legislature. Unfortunately, we had a flood in Everman. We had flooding in Everman and Forest Hill. And it was September 18th or something like that. The mayor reaches out. I reach out to the mayor of Everman, Forest Hill. I'm like, what can we do? We got to get the state involved to do something. So I called the governor. The governor said, his people said, okay, I'm going to put you in touch with the Texas Department of Emergency Management. The chair, the person who runs the emergency T-Day, that's what it's called, he calls me that morning, Saturday morning at 7 a.m., right after it happened. I'm sending someone your way. I was like, great. We have a meeting Monday morning. I wasn't told about the meeting. I was on my way somewhere else, and then the mayor of Forest Hill said, oh, they're about to meet right now. Okay. The person I called down here and meet didn't tell me, okay. So I go in there into the city of Everman, City Hall area, and I walk in and the lady goes, they're in there, and immediately, so there's a table where everybody's sitting around the table, and then there's the audience table. I go in and I sit, the audience chair, I go in, I walk right in, and I sat right at the table. And I jumped in to ask them questions. I was like, okay, wait a minute, how's this going to impact? So the mayor knows who I am. The only person who doesn't know who I am is the person I sent, was the person from Texas Department of Emergency Management. So he sits there and he's like, excuse me, who are you? And I said, I introduced myself. I said, my name is Nicole Collier. And that's, I just said, my name is Nicole Collier. I represent this area. And so eventually I said, well, what's your name? And he goes, I'll get you a card. Seriously, you're going to get me a card? You're going to find out who, you're going to not tell me your name? And so he just immediately started being confrontational. So I was like, dang it. So I text his boss, and immediately, I'm in there. First I called him, he didn't answer, so I texted him. I said, I'm having trouble with your employee. Will you please try to help us? I think we had we had miscommunication. That's all I said. I think we had a miscommunication, so let's try to work it out. So apparently he had texted him in the meeting, and this guy's face, he was like, yes, ma'am, what can I do for you, ma'am? Ma'am, what can I do? I'm so sorry. I never would have expected a state representative to be in this meeting. I'm like, no, it don't matter who you thought or what I would. You still ask, when somebody's talking to you, you respond and everything. He was like, you got my boss's boss to contact me, and I've never spoken to him before, so I know you're important. Seriously. And then I can't follow you around the rest of the day, I promise you, it was funny. But, so we still have to make our way. I don't care, even to this day, remember I told you I was on welfare and I had 2 babies before I was 18. And I'm an attorney too, so I was working at a law firm, and I was the main person over in the litigation department. And my paralegal, his wife, we went to a Christmas party, and she turns to me and she goes, aren't you glad you did it right this time? And I'm like, okay. So she's up here judging me when I'm supposed to be her husband's boss. So I don't care how much you achieve in life, people are going to find ways to knock you down, to tear you down, make you think that you're not worthy, but you are. And then those are just words. So that's something that I always like. Because it's not you, it's them. That's one thing I always think in the back of my head. It's not me, it's them. They have a problem. So it's up to them to try to get over that. So that's what I would say. I got a story for almost everything probably, but you keep living, you'll have one too.
I get all have a similar story. I know that I'm usually a woman of color or woman in the room a lot of the time, not only in politics, but also in the nonprofit world, which you would think that it would be a different story, but it's not. It's the same story. Would either of you 2 ladies like to add to that?
I definitely agree with that point about working in the nonprofit space as I do in Texas. I would also add to your point about your story. Your story is important and open doors, because when people know your story, at times it's so compelling that they, that I don't know, this person really deserves to sit at the table. And in the absence of those opportunities, I think we really have to pull up a chair, as the saying goes, and kind of get over that feeling of like awkwardness or intimidation in the work that I do. You absolutely cannot be intimidated. So you just have to persevere, and when you think that your voice is viable in a situation, you need to be willing to speak your truth.
I would say that from my experience, most people of color who are in the nonprofit space are out there running programs in the community, right? And they're doing really good and important work. But a lot of times they have state or federal contracts, and so they feel like they can't say or criticize, the same agency that's giving them the contract, right? So they're put in like kind of a bind, and that's a problem. So I would suggest that if that's true for someone in the room, how can you get your voice heard is to maybe work with a group like mine, we're a nonpartisan think tank basically. We don't take government funds, so we're free to say what we really think about when they go wrong. And find someone there, whether it's CCCC, Appleseed, Feeding Texas, there are lots of groups that work on your issues. And we don't always know what's going on in the ground, so find a way to be their eyes and ears and share it back to them. But the other best way is to show up at the Capitol when they do have hearings. And they don't make it easy for people. They don't. They will post, you know, especially when it gets busy, you'll have a list of bills that you might only get a day or two of notice that it's coming, and there could be 30 bills being heard, and you could start at 8 a.m., and you don't get heard till midnight. So it's a lot to ask sometimes for people, but if you have something that's important to say, you should show up and have your voice heard at that hearing, and not enough people do that, and they get away with a lot because of that. And if you can't show up, go to their office, go to their field office, go to their capital office. If you live in their district, go talk to them. They all have people who are supposed to work with community members, both to help solve problems, but to hear what's going on, and that's how you get their ear and they start paying attention.
And then also networking. Things like this is another opportunity. You network and you get Rachel's card, you get my card, you get Tasha's card, and then you're like, oh, I'm gonna be in Houston. Let me call Tasha. Or Austin. I'm gonna be in Austin. Let me call Rachel. I'm in Fort Worth. Let me call Nicole and let her know I'm here. You know, those are the things, and I get a lot of my ideas from the community. Like if you know, the lobby comes to me and they'll say, oh, we have this program. Just recently, Spectrum was like, we have 35 computers that we, laptop computers we want to give away. Where do you want them to go? Stop 6. AT&T, we have a Zoom program. We usually in Southwest Fort Worth. Where would you like for them to go? Sunrise McMillan, Morningside Elementary. And so it's bringing them, getting people who have those connections and getting them to bring them into the community. So that way you can have access. You know, making sure that you have, Helen Giddens was excellent at that. So is Ron Reynolds also.
Yes, it's always helpful to either carry the table in your trunk or bring a chair with you, make sure that all of them are there. That you can be at the table and work through. Representative Hall, you wanted to talk a little bit about criminal justice as well. We know that is one of our heaviest topics that with quality of education. All of our topics are interrelated as we move through, especially the topics that we talked about earlier this morning, the census and the districting. That affects how you live, how your property values go through. It also affects who your sheriffs are, where you choose and elect to live, and also that affects education and your health dollars, especially county public health dollars as well. So would you mind telling us a little bit more about criminal justice?
Well, you know, this was my first time being on that committee. I don't even practice that type of law, so I had a learning curve to catch up, but I caught up very quickly in a similar team. One of the things that I wanted to do when I first held my hearing, since I was the first woman, I wanted all women to testify. Now, let me tell you how hard it was to find women who were in law enforcement that are chiefs in charge of things. It was tough trying to find women who were make their way through law enforcement and have stayed. But I did, and then I got called. I was discriminated because I had all women at the table. And so I was like, if it was all men, nobody would question that. But because I chose to get women to be the first, on the first committee to hearing, they were like, oh, she's discriminatory. Okay, I'll take that. But one of the things that we have to do is make sure that we approach criminal justice in a way where it's not going to have a disparate impact, the outcome. Now you have these lofty ideas. President Bill Clinton had a lofty idea, 3 strikes. But guess who struck out? Us. We struck out. The idea was good, but then there was so many, it was so harsh that we were the ones who impacted, because you didn't fix who they arrest, or who they target rather. Because they just come into our communities and arrest us. It's like they go there and they know they're trying to get something instead of going to the other communities. So they target our areas. So, these are things, I was just so amazed at how many penalty increase bills there were. Everything wanted to be an increase in penalty. Well, let me tell you, our state jail felony program that we have, it doesn't work. It puts people in jail for about 24 months maximum. They actually don't even do that long. And you don't do anything. You don't give them services. If they were out there slinging drugs, you didn't help them find a trade or anything like that. If they were on drugs, you didn't help them get off. So we have to look at that state jail felony program. We probably just need to eliminate it or do something else with it because it's not working. And you guys have got to vote, because I can't get these progressive or these correct, reasonable laws passed with the type of committee that I have. Law of parties, how many of you guys have heard of the law of parties? Okay, law of parties, there you go. A law of parties is if you know how your mom always said, be careful who you hang with. All right, so if you go out and your friend robs a store, and in the commission of the robbery, they kill somebody, you're charged with the same murder as that person, even though you were in the getaway car. That's the law of parties. Goes totally against what criminal law says. When I was in law school, and Keisha Smith, she was here earlier, she'll know that criminal law tells you have to have the mens rea. Your mindset has to be there to commit that crime. If my mindset was to drive the car, it wasn't to murder that person. They went off plan. So I wanted to abolish that. Representative Harold Dutton had a bill, but she said he never got a hearing on before. But I gave him a hearing, and I was ready to bring it up for a vote, brought it up for a vote, and it died. The bill died. So we don't even have the votes to eliminate, poor legislation. We don't have the votes to do that. So it's so important that we talk about things that are going to, we want to do deterrent, but we want to see the holistic. We got to look at why are they stealing? Why are they selling drugs? Is it because they didn't get, they weren't able to get a job? Is it because they have a felony on their record that prohibited them, that limited their ability to get a job? This morning, I'm leaving, I had an event this morning, and I'm leaving out the door. A young black man standing at the door, and I said, can I help you? Are you here for my veterans breakfast? He's like, no, I'm here for the job fair. I said, oh, I didn't know there was a job fair. I said, show it to me. He came a week early, which is good, that means he's gonna show up. But when he was there, I said, well, what kind of work are you looking for? He said, maintenance, janitorial, whatever I can get. Young brother. And I was like, he needs a second chance. And I'm gonna call people, whoever I know. I know that's not what I was here. Maybe it was. Maybe that's why God had me there. I don't know. But I was there for something else. But he came, and I was like, he's trying. And why are we gonna hold him up? Because if he doesn't have opportunities, where do you expect him to go? What do you expect him to do? So we have to make those opportunities available. And if you're in the seat to do it, it's incumbent upon you. You either get in the seat and keep it moving or get out the way.
All of those issues are interconnected and interrelated to everything else. One of the main issues that we're seeing, especially in Latino communities as well as other immigrant communities, is issues of public charge that lead into criminal justice, that lead into access to services. I'm going to start with Tasha, and that was education, and the families that you're working with. What are you seeing about those issues coming through with you guys, and are they getting certain things happening? Specific to public charge or to education, or have y'all seen a drop off of families actually trying to get to benefits or even faster?
Well, that information is actually not legally, you don't have access to a lot of that information, but anecdotally, I would say that a lot of our families, because we do serve at Texas 55% Latino families and Latinx families, we have seen some concerns about information sharing, privacy, and just the concerns around immigration reform. So for us, obviously, that goes hand in hand because families are essentially like in a very precarious situation of not wanting to over-involve any type of system, with the fear that it can impact their families. And we do have families that unfortunately face deportation. And I've actually helped a parent who, she has 2 kids at a school in Houston, and her husband was deported for 2 years in error. His paperwork was mishandled, and unfortunately he was out of the states for 2 years. And I worked with her as well as with Congressman Alvin's office and several of the immigration legal services that and nonprofits that we have in Houston to support her. But holistically, I would say that our families are very concerned about that. And then thinking about our African American families, which is about 45% of our families, I think that there's just a feeling or an overwhelming sense that the system is not working for us. So I try to work with our families who have, first of all, done something big by exercising choice in the first place. And sitting down and completing a charter school application. For KIPP and for most charter schools, this is an open enrollment application where the students will be in a lottery and they'll be selected that way. But we have about 13,000 kids who are still on waiting lists. So even the parents who get in, there's still like that trepidation of where do we go next, or where do we go from here in terms of utilizing the programs that are available for our families. So in my role, it's important for me to make connections between the organizations and the community-based organizations that really create that hub of support.
Rachel, on a state level, what are you seeing from that work?
So, first question is, does everybody know what we mean by public charge? Everybody? So, public charge is one of the many rules changes that the Trump administration has put out in the last year, which basically says that people who are legally here and trying to get a green card, if you have used public benefit programs, it counts against you for getting your green card. But it's not just that, it also changes the system to basically rig it so the wealthier you are, the more likely you are to pass the test. Being poor counts against you, or even just moderate income counts against you for getting citizenship. So this is a brand new thing that they, Okay, so this came out of left field, and so the courts have stopped it for now. But it still did its damage, and advocates on the other side, we call it the invisible wall. You couldn't get the money for the physical wall, so they keep throwing up programs that scare people away because it's an invisible wall, and it's doing real damage. Participation in SNAP, which is, food stamps, has dropped in Texas since public charge came out 2 years ago, it's gone down like 11%, okay?
Not only in immigrant communities, but
Not across the board. Because this isn't just, like I said, it's not undocumented. This isn't even affecting undocumented people because they can't get these programs anyway. These are legally here, legally present folks or their family members. Even if you are a citizen, your child is a citizen, maybe your husband is trying to naturalize, or your sister, or somebody in your extended family, and just pure fear of that somehow trickling down and stopping that process means you don't go for these programs, even if you really do need them. Our Medicaid rolls have dropped, our WIC rolls, so pregnant women aren't getting nutrition. Babies are not getting fed because of these rules. So it matters, and so far the courts have stopped all of these, as I said, from taking effect, but the damage is still being done.
Black women are dying after they have the baby. Yeah.
actually that leads into my next question, Representative Collier. Fort Worth, as you know, has one of the highest infant mortality rates to benefit African American women pretty proportionally. What legislation have you been working on different medical bills and zombie medical bill, debt collection as well?
I love that.
Comes through. Yes.
I get excited when I talk about some of the bills that are being passed. But can I go? Rachel was talking about how Medicaid rolls. It's because of the laws that have been in place. First they wanted to drug test people for Medicaid benefits. We fought that one, but then they got it for for unemployment. So now you get drug tested if you want to get unemployment. So and they wanted to put on. There was a bill, and I remember Representative Tony Rose. She was just livid about this one. To put on their card, on the EBT card. Taxpayer paid for by taxpayer dollars.
I testified against
You
that.
I
remember that one.
They taxpayers too, they pay taxes. Every time they go buy something, 8.25% tax, you know what I'm saying? So don't sit up there, and so we were able to kill that bill. But these are things that they put out there, and the media says it, but they don't know that they didn't pass. So you're thinking, oh my goodness, I have a card that says paid for a tax. And they wanted the pictures on the ID, on the card. I mean, there were so many things that they try to do to make it more difficult. They want to tell you what food you can and cannot buy with it. If you're going to have a debit EBT card, why can't I buy a chicken that's already cooked? I mean, I want to get a rotisserie chicken. It's easy. You can't get hot food with the EBT card. So, I mean, that's just crazy. These are parameters that they put on it. Because I'm a working woman. I want to come home. I'm going to make my child some rotisserie chicken. I'm going to get some greens. And I'm going to get, a starch or whatever. But the rotisserie chicken makes it easy. So, I mean, they put these things on. And I can't fight it alone. We have 18 members of the Texas Legislative Black Caucus. We need to get more. We need to get more people of the Mexican American Legislative Caucus. We need to get more Democrats, period. That will help. I'm gonna say it. We need more Democrats that think like us.
All right.
I know you're Democrats that think like us and have lived our experiences that are gonna fight for us. So, those are some of the things that they don't try to just raise the criminal penalty. We try to find out what's the root cause of this. Why are they dropping out of high school? Why aren't they, what's going on at home? Why are they acting out in high school? Mayor Eric Johnson, he got in where you cannot suspend somebody unless it's for a really good cause. That's another good thing that we've been doing. And these are coming from people who have lived these experiences. So again, I do appreciate the work Triple P does in our community when it comes to the legislature, because I don't know everything. And so I have to rely on people to educate me. And I rely on every one of you. So just like Rachel was saying, when something comes up, you gotta call me. Because I don't know unless you tell me. I didn't know you were against that bill. I don't read your mind. So you gotta tell your legislature how you feel. Write them. Because anybody who wants to keep their seat, they're gonna listen.
Thank you. All right, well, I think we've got a couple of minutes for a few questions. Does anybody have any questions for our panelists? Yes, ma'am.
I have a quick one. I've noticed that with the epidemic with crack and all the laws around crack, there was this new epidemic is with our new drugs, our OxyContin and whatnot. They're being treated so differently. Is there any movement? Because this is basically we can't even get OxyContin when we go to the hospital. Everyone else can, of different colors. So I'm just, trying to figure out what can we do, because those crack laws are still there, the marijuana laws are still there, cocaine laws are good, right? They're really good. And then they're
For them.
skewed, they're skewed from us. And so now the OxyContin is more looking at treatment. So what can we do to help those crack laws and marijuana laws?
Yeah, I tried to pass change. So that's good. You know what they used to call it? They used to call it substance abuse, right? Now it's called substance use disorder. They can change the name. It used to be called, you have a substance abuse disorder. No, it's a substance use disorder. Crack and cocaine, this is what gets me on the difference between that, because the penalty for using cocaine is lesser than the penalty for using crack. It's because of who uses that drug. That's absolutely right. And so that's what we've got to look at. We've got to look at why is it, just like with the pregnant women, Black women are dying at a higher rate than any other race in Texas, and it comes down to maternal mortality. But yet they want to look at suicide. They want to look at, which is bad. I mean, it's bad. We have a problem with suicide, but we've got an alarming number, and we've got to call them out and say, look, this is an important issue. You need to pay attention to this issue. Just like I'm a teen mom, but we need to eradicate teen pregnancy. But they don't want to listen to that. They don't want to give contraception. They don't want to address those things. So with the criminal justice laws, when it comes down to these drug laws, we've got to look at them and see what the causes are and see how we can address the criminal penalties. Because right now, it's having an impact. Remember I talked about the disparate impact? That's why we get arrested more, Black and brown, because of the way that the law is written. They go after the marijuana, they go after the crack. But when you're talking about using hydrocodone, it's like, let's see what kind of treatment plans we have. Somebody on crack needs treatment.
Absolutely. Well, we're running out of time here. Final words of activation for our crowd and how we can move forward, be at the table, and or just advice from the three of you?
I would just say let's raise our awareness around the false bifurcation of traditional ISD versus charter schools. That is something that I dealt with heavily throughout this past session with 40 anti-charter bills being drafted, and none of them, unfortunately, none of them passed, but we had to do so much work, whereas the statistics are really showing that our schools are successful and high-performing charter schools, which I'm speaking about specifically, are closing the achievement gap. So the achievement gap is right about 14%. Middle school students who go to Kidman matriculate to college at about 12% rate. So that's a huge, right, improvement. And whether it's traditional or charter schools, we just have to focus on what's important, which is success for our students. And I have noticed specifically that as a woman of color working for a school district, there's like the other, right? Like, oh, they work for the charters and they work for the traditional. And as the African American community advances within the state, we have to remain focused on our, what brings us together versus what makes us different.
I guess I would say that you already know, obviously that's why you're here, that elections matter. And so, but I want to say, not just who you vote for that matters, it's that what they vote for also matters, right? So the politician is a person, but that doesn't mean that they're going to vote for the right thing, even if they are the right party. Okay, there are lots of Dems who have lots of disagreements, and they don't always vote the same way. So part of that is that we have to convince them what's the right way to vote, and that's part of my job, that's part of your job, to show what you want. And so to stay involved not just in the political side of it, but on the policy side of it. Sign up for newsletters like ours at CPLP, sign up for national groups who do a good job. And to make sure that one of the, I don't know if it's a dirty secret or not, but one of the things about the nonprofit world is when I first started, we talked about poverty and we stayed away from race. We were trained never to talk about race. Poverty is what counts. And in the last few years, this tide has shifted and groups have started to realize, you know what? You'll never solve poverty if you don't talk about race. Right? All of those things, all of the policies we talked about play out differently by race. And it's not just about poverty. And so all of these things have to be looked at through a racial equity lens, the disparate impact, and don't just take it on face value that this is the right policy. Is it the right policy for all of our communities? And push your reps on that too.
Last word? That's it? All right. Well, let's give it a round of applause.